Ramona.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Your Waifu Is Trash Podcast, the show where we decided whether or not your waifu is trash. We got 5 different categories to go through: appearance, personality, abilities, role, and most importantly, fetish potential. I'm Christian, and I'm here with my brother David.
Olé, muchacho.
And we're savage idiots.
We are.
We're dumb, stupid, savage idiots.
We suck.
We suck bad. We totally forgot the Waifu for Laifu segment at the end of the last episode. We just totally blew through it. Maybe because the answer was obvious.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious.
It's Nami.
Yeah, Nami wins.
Yeah, Nami retains. You just did not like Android 18 as much as I do. And even then, I don't like 18 as much as I like Nami anyway. So there it is, guys. Nami retains. And maybe someday she'll be beaten. Maybe.
I know she's gonna be beaten. She's not our favorite.
Oh, definitely not. We have some favorites to go through today. Maybe not a favorite. People might get mad at this episode.
I feel like this is gonna be kind of controversial.
Yeah. There are huge fans of this character, and I was at once a pretty big fan of Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim until I grew up and I met a real Ramona.
Everybody wants to meet their Ramona. That was a thing for a while. People were like,
it's a term. It's totally a phrase.
Yeah,
people
it's
want
a
to
phrase
find.
people use.
Yeah, people want to find their Ramona Flowers, and
why would they want to do that?
It's just that girlfriend, It's the girlfriend, you meet in your teenage years. It's exciting, and she's kind of edgy, and it's cool,
This is totally spoiling the rest of the podcast and our conversation, but
it's fine.
Yeah, we're going to be pretty blunt about this. Ramona Flowers is that girl that you wanted to date so bad when you were a teenager, and then you do eventually date her and you realize, wow, what was I thinking?
It's funny. I've dated pretty much every Scott Pilgrim girl. I've dated the real life equivalent. I've dated an Envy. I've dated a Ramona. I've dated a Knives, and who else? I haven't dated a Kim, unfortunately.
I'm Kim... still looking for my Wallace.
Yeah, I think we all want a Wallace. We all want a little bit of a Wallace in us.
Because Wallace is the best fucking character in that series.
Wallace is great. I mean, Kim is top tier.
Kim's fucking awesome. I liked her a lot, but man, when we do the Husbando series, I guarantee you the Wallace episode is going to be a great one.
Oh, dude, Wallace is legit a great guy. Would be the best boyfriend. He's supportive. He's fun.
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious.
That's the best part.
Yeah, and he's logical. Wallace is great. Wallace is number one husband material.
There had to be one likable character in Scott Pilgrim. And
okay, I wouldn't go that. We love Scott Pilgrim. We are huge fans. Though growing up and looking back on Scott Pilgrim, we both agree that
looking back on Scott Pilgrim could be a podcast entirely in itself.
Yeah.
It is something that is so of its time. You know what I mean? We're all going to revisit Scott Pilgrim at some point and realize, wow, the entire country was into this.
Yeah. And we were talking about it earlier. When Scott Pilgrim came out, this was the time before retro shit was like cool and in, and like everybody did retro shit. This was when seeing like a 1-Up mushroom was cool.
It kind of rode the wave of nostalgia just as it was starting.
It was really kicking into all of the nostalgia stuff. We started Scott Pilgrim with the comics when they first came out, issue 1. We were there. We were there from the very beginning. We were buying the volumes as they came out. We were early fans of Scott Pilgrim, and I remember when the movie finally came out, we were so hyped, like, oh my god, everyone knows about it, this is a cool thing. And like they played like the Ocarina of Time music while he was taking the piss in the bathroom.
That was awesome.
That's when shit like that was insane. Like they played a Zelda song in a movie, and now we have stuff like Ready Player One.
It was touching to see a Zelda song in something so mainstream.
It was awesome. It was so
now
cool.
It's kind of been overplayed. Everything is a crossover these days.
Yeah, again, Ready Player One. You have stuff like that all over the place. So in a way, Scott Pilgrim has lost its charm through that way. Feels a little dated, because of all the references.
It's definitely dated. Again, it's a product of its time, and that's more than just the video game references.
It's the characters themselves.
The characters, the way they interact, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I still love Scott Pilgrim. I don't hate it one bit. I still love it with all my heart. It came at a very important time in my life.
The problem is when you boil it down to its basic story, boil down the characters to who they are, what informs their decisions, I don't think it's going to age very well.
I don't think it's going to age very well either. We deserve to go back and reread and rewatch too, because the movie was great. I liked the movie. The Scott Pilgrim movie was so good, at least for the time when we first saw it. We liked it so much and we were so into it that we saw it in the theaters twice, back to back. Like
That's
we saw it one
for
day.
us. I know some people do that every time a Marvel movie comes out, but we rarely spend the money to go see a movie twice, especially because movies are so expensive to go to these days.
Especially back then. They were a little more expensive, weren't they?
No, they were cheaper.
Damn.
It's terrible these days, but it wasn't exactly cheap back then either, so...
It was Scott Pilgrim and Kick-Ass. Those were like the two movies that, we saw back to back.
I haven't watched the Scott Pilgrim movie in a few years. I haven't read the comics since I finished them like 10 years ago.
Jeez, don't tell me it's 10 years.
It's been a long time. If not 10, then maybe 9. I'm pretty sure it's 10 years at this point. Dang. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I haven't revisited this story in such a long time. But I just have this weird feeling that it's incredibly dated and not in a good way. I feel like the story does not hold up. And again, this is just my memories. What does hold up is that fucking Kino PS3 game.
Oh, dude, the game on the PS3 is so good, and you can't play that anymore. You cannot get that game, right?
No, if you didn't buy it before, I'm pretty sure. I think the only way to get it is, for some reason, GameStop still has some digital download codes in their memory banks. So some GameStops, you can ask for the digital download code, and you can somehow get it that way. But even then, that's kind
so
of...
much.
You're rolling dice with that.
Yeah, luckily we still have it on our PS3. We're able to play that. We should, dude. You want to go back and play that sometime?
I would love to play. You can play the entire game in like 2 hours.
That zombie mode was fun too.
I didn't play it as much. It's like
it was like a beat 'em up, and it was like I made a game of zombies, but without music. You just kind of beat up the zombies, and the music got more intense as it went on.
And the zombies got stronger.
Yeah,
I remember.
It was cool.
It was a fun game. It was a River City Ransom clone.
It was so fun.
I will take any opportunity I can to talk about River City Ransom.
You mentioned it a lot, and I know it's like a fighting game from like...
It's like the actual... I'm not even exaggerating. It's the best NES game.
That's saying a lot.
It's a beat-em-up. It's an RPG. It's got a fun little story. It's got amusing characters. It's funny. It's dripping with personality.
And that's how Scott Pilgrim felt to me when I first, read it.
Yeah.
Dripping with personality, fun, adventurous. Can I throw out a weird fact there? I admitted some shit in the Android 18 episode. I'm gonna keep admitting shit. Scott Pilgrim was around the time I discovered hentai.
Was it?
Yeah, it was around the time where I first saw it. It was actually on the 3DS.
So you saw those early Shadman drawings of Ramona?
I don't think I did.
Thank God.
I don't think I saw those. I might have. There's very few, Scott Pilgrim hentai images because I was reading it as it was coming out, so it still, didn't catch wind in the mainstream too much. So there wasn't a lot of artwork.
You would know this better than I. Was there ever a big boom of Scott Pilgrim hentai? Because it seems like the art style is easy enough to replicate that it would be a popular thing.
Yeah, back in the day when I was searching in the early days of Scott Pilgrim popularity, there wasn't a lot. And by the time I grew up and kind of got out of it a little bit, then it started booming and getting really big. So
after the movie came out.
After the movie came out. So I don't really know. I can't give you that answer, unfortunately. But I'm sure there's someone listening to this podcast who knows all the answers you're looking for there.
We need you on this podcast.
Damn right we do.
Send us an email with all of your data. Your Scott Pilgrim porn data that you've collected and amassed.
We need it all. Even the Wallace stuff. Especially the Wallace
stuff. Are you kidding me?
Real quick, episode 10. Here we are, 10 episodes in already.
Wow.
Yeah, many more to come. Episode 10, Ramona Flowers. Here we are with a big one. She was important to me as a kid.
I think she's important to a lot of people.
Yeah, again, she became a phrase. She became a whole ideal.
Yeah.
All right, you want to hop into appearance? You just want to head
Let's
right
just jump right in because I feel like we're going to have quite a conversation here.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let you start. I wanna hear what you have to say about her visually. Wait, actually, before we begin any of that, what's your favorite outfit? She's known for her different outfits, different colors of hair, different styles of hair, different looks overall. What's your favorite?
There's an outfit she wears. I forget which of the volumes it was in, but she's at a party and she gets drunk with both Scott and Kim.
Does she have the long hair?
She has long hair. She's wearing a white dress. I believe she's wearing a skull necklace.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Her hair is really nice.
Yeah, I prefer. She's known for like the short hair girl.
Yeah.
But she looks better with the longer hair, I think.
She always does. I'm not into the short hair thing.
Maybe because there's a lot of girls with short hair in Scott Pilgrim. I think like all of them besides Envy.
Well, that actually leads into one of the points I wanted to make about her appearance. It's that because of the art style, she looks like almost every other character.
That is
true. She even looks like a lot of the male characters.
Now, Brian's art style it's very attractive to look at. It's very pretty. I love his art.
It definitely has an appeal.
Yeah, I think all of his characters look attractive to some extent. I love his art style very much.
The only problem is a lot of them look exactly the same. You have to really key in on the small differences, like eyelashes and beard stubble.
Yeah.
Slight variations to the oval head shape. It's subtle, almost to a fault.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he has a way with lines. And
he does.
The how he plays with the thickness of the lines. It's aesthetically pleasing to the point where it kind of created an entire art shift. We started seeing stuff like Adventure Time become more popular. These really easy to replicate art styles.
Around this era, that's when all the sort of simple art started. The whole Cal Arts thing kind of began around this era. I don't want to say
Scott Pilgrim was a progenitor, absolutely.
I don't want to say it started because of Scott Pilgrim, but it definitely
was one of the major influences.
Yeah, it influenced that whole era. But, you were talking about the art, and after I've read some more, like, shonen manga, like One Piece and stuff, I would like to go back and see how Brian draws his action scenes. I would like to see how those look.
It's funny. He's compared to manga artists all the time.
Yeah, he is compared to manga artists all the time. I think that's because his series prior to Scott Pilgrim was kind of manga-ish. It had a more Japanese feel to it overall. And not only that, but his page layouts and the way he formats his panels and stuff. It's definitely influenced. Definitely manga influence.
It's strange that so many people picked up on that because manga wasn't exactly that huge back when Scott Pilgrim came out.
It's so weird to think that there was a time where manga wasn't huge, and to think that retro shit wasn't huge. It was still kind of a nerdy thing, and it wasn't that long ago.
Well, 10 years.
I know. Oh, that hurts.
10 years isn't very long.
Getting old, dude. We're getting old.
I'm 10 years older than you. How do you think I feel about that?
Pretty fucking bad.
Pretty fucking bad. So, what I really want to get at here, going back to Ramona, is that she kind of looks like every other girl in the series, so you have to pick up on what other people say about her to understand
I don't think they look that similar. I don't think the characters look that similar at all. I understand like a similar body layout, like to where you can have a basic frame and you can draw any character based off of that frame, but I don't think they look so similar to where you need to hear people talk about the character to know who's being
There are
brought
a
up.
few details. For one, a lot of people call her fat in the comic.
She's a little thicker in the waist.
She's curvy. I think that's what the author was going for.
Yeah.
I think she's supposed to be a bit thicker.
And her actress in the movie, do you know her name?
Oh, she is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I believe.
Hey, nice job. Got it off of memory. I feel like her body type is perfect to play Ramona. I'm not so sure in the face. I mean, she's beautiful. She plays the role very well, and I think she did a great Ramona. But specifically in the body type, they got it down perfectly. Like she's not fat. She doesn't look fat, but you can tell she's a little thicker. She likes garlic bread.
I thought it was Scott that liked garlic bread.
They both like it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, I dig the thickness. Not a big fan of the constantly changing hair color.
Yeah, that's another thing that's kind of a product of its time. The whole scene emo phase was huge, and girls were changing their hair. I mean, people still do it today, of course, but...
Oh, it's even bigger today. You can't walk down the street without seeing somebody with blue hair. My real problem is, and we're going to get into this more when it comes to personality and all that, the reasons that she changed her hair constantly.
Yeah, personalities. Honestly, the thick of this episode is going to be personality. That's when we're really going to get into it. I understand where the hair thing could bother you because it looks good. The constant changing of her hair is pretty. She does some cool stuff with it, but why she's doing it kind of gives you a sour look on her appearance overall.
Yeah, and also just because apparently it's just a me problem, but I have trouble distinguishing the characters sometimes because of how similar the characters look in this art style.
Yeah, I've never had that problem.
Because of that, the hair changing constantly, it almost seems like she's just a different character every time.
Yeah, it's like every volume she is a different character, and she kind of is. She kind of changes the way she feels about things often. She's very bipolar.
She's stylish, at least.
Yeah,
her outfits themselves are really
I love... She's drawn very beautifully, and her sense of fashion is great, dude. She's always changing. She's always got something new going on. It's exciting to see characters change looks often. I always really like that.
Well, Ramona Flowers is the one who's known for changing everything whenever she wants to.
Yeah, and
I can't exactly fault her for that.
Yeah,
especially when Brian Lee O'Malley, he's got a real sense of style.
He does. A lot of his characters dress really well. Even like Steven Stills, he doesn't dress well, but the clothes he wears really accentuate the character himself. You know?
Yeah,
Get what I'm trying to say. Real quick, I just want to clarify. My favorite Ramona outfit is the one that she wore at the Halloween party. The long hair, black dress, skull necklace. I love it so much.
I think that's the one that I liked.
I think so,
but again,
too.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. But honestly, all her looks are great. Yeah, good stuff all around. She's not a goth girl. She's not a punk girl. She's not even seen her emo. But
she could be.
She kind of is all those things at once, but
she changes. She changes based on whatever she's feeling at the time. She might be more into horror punk for a little while. She might be more into
preppiness or just being pretty.
She might even come in dressed as like a little bit of a saucy Mexican Spanish kind of salsa dancer thing.
Yeah.
She can go anywhere, and I like that versatility.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her a 7. I think she's attractive.
Very.
And
she ain't no Kim Pine.
She's no Kim Pine.
Pine. We're gonna do that episode, right? We shouldn't tell the audience what we're gonna give Kim yet.
We're gonna do Kim.
Okay, we're doing Kim.
Yeah, we're gonna do Kim.
All right, cool. No spoilers on Kim. Obviously, we like Kim a lot. We really do. Big fans.
Right. What are you giving Ramona?
Strong 8. Super strong 8. Not quite a 9 because a 9's super high, but I really like all her looks, and she was one of the first girls. I know. I feel like I say this every episode, but she was legit one of the first girls I really got into, especially because I read Volume 1 when that first came out, and I remember the scene where Scott and Ramona were about to have sex for the first time, and she took off her pants and stuff. That blew my mind as a kid. That was awesome. That was so cool. So yeah, she means a little more to me than she probably does to you.
Yeah.
So it's a strong 8 for me. You gave her what, a 7?
7.
Cool. Personality. This is where we're gonna get into the
thick
of it.
She doesn't just fall off. She's going down Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Her personality fucking sucks.
She is quite literally a real life shady girlfriend. Like once you start getting into like some more serious relationships and get into some adult stuff, you meet your real Ramona. There's some good to it. It's not all terrible. You know, there's some genuine, support and love coming from Ramona. She does have care for Scott.
I think that comes through more in the comic than it does in the movie.
Way more in the comic. I mean, yeah, comparing a 9-volume comic to a like hour and a half, 2 hour long movie, of course you have to condense some things and change things out.
I get you have to condense, and that's totally fine, but the movie really fails to show that, Ramona does like Scott.
Yeah, she's kind of, in the movie, she's neglectful, and she's carrying around a moody baggage the whole time.
It's like, why is she even dating Scott in the movie?
Yeah,
she's not interested.
Yeah, not only is she not interested in the movie, at least, but she's obviously got no room for a relationship, and that's when the real reality of Ramona kicks in. She has no room for a relationship.
No, she needs to accept herself. She needs to work on herself before she has room to show anybody else any kind of love and caring. And I don't know, she needs to change a lot.
So Ramona is cool in all the comics. You kind of put her up on a pedestal because she's so cool. You want your real life Ramona. And then you meet her in real life and you understand that a person that acts like this, a person who is as, neglectful and kind of rude and has all this baggage like Ramona Flowers, you realize they don't have room for a relationship. Ramona didn't have room for a relationship. And there's just not time for that.
She's a broken person.
Yeah, she's a broken person, and she shouldn't have, done... I mean, she really did hurt Scott a lot, and, everyone around her. She did a lot of bad shit, and yes, that is part of growing up and learning about relationships. You have to, go through those phases.
But
Sometimes you're going to be an
she was
asshole.
doing. There was some emotional manipulation there.
There was.
And I don't know. It's all a metaphor. You have to take you have to defeat my 7 evil exes as a metaphor for emotional baggage in a relationship.
Yeah.
The problem is this doesn't go both ways in the comic.
Absolutely
It's
not.
all dumped on Scott.
All of it, yeah. Poor Scott.
I know, right? And
Growing
don't
up,
get me wrong. Scott's an asshole in a lot of ways.
Dude, yeah.
Scott makes a lot of really bad decisions in this.
I mean, it's the whole plot of the series, and you have to get in the thick of it to do that. But that doesn't change the fact that Ramona is a shitty person, and she's done really shitty things.
The thing is, if she just told Scott, "Hey, I don't want a relationship right now. I'm not ready for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of baggage with my last boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm still working through that." She never does, though. She's aloof the entire series. She doesn't want to talk about her past at all. She just kind of wants to fit in with this new group of friends that she finds herself in Canada. And I don't like that one bit. It's almost sinister.
Yeah, if a person like this came into your actual life, it'd be kind of fucked up. It'd be that person that you don't want to hang around, or like you like them a lot at first, but then you slowly realize like, wow, this person's bringing us down.
She's incredibly insecure with herself.
Oh yeah, that's why she's changing her hair all the time. She doesn't know what to do with herself.
Yeah, and it just speaks to how she's able to apply herself to these other people, and everybody thinks she's so great, and she's not. It's all the appearance. She is self-loathing. She's an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. It's heavily implied that she's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think she's very cowardly.
She is, and everything you're saying is true. It's all absolutely true, but I have to say, Brian nailed it.
No, I'm not saying that the writing is fine.
Oh, yeah,
of
course.
Great. This is definitely a person who exists in real life.
Yeah.
He nailed this type of person. Would I want her as a girlfriend?
Fuck no.
No.
Hell no. But there is something beautiful about it. I feel like all this mess and terrible shit going on, there's something I really do love about it. I don't know why. That's just me. I don't like drama. I wouldn't date a girl like this at all. I'm not saying I would. I mean, I have. But I think there is something really, really nice about this kind of character.
I'm not sure if this is what you're feeling, but there are a lot of people who see a girl like that and they think, I want to fix her.
Yeah, I want to be able to help.
That is... I mean, it's cool that you want to help. That's great, but they have to want to help themselves.
Oh, yeah,
and Ramona is running from helping herself.
Yeah.
Even by the end... After Gideon is defeated, after Scott's defeated all the exes...
Fucking spoilers, dude.
Sorry, we're gonna get some spoilers. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, it's fine.
Even after all this, she still doesn't think she can change.
Yeah. It's
if
cowardly, like you said.
Yeah, it's cowardly. It's the easy way out. Moving to Canada and getting into this whole new scene with new friends and not telling anybody your history, that is cowardly.
And with her constantly doubting herself... Not only is it cowardly, and obviously she has some mental instabilities going on, but a lot of it's probably for attention, too. Despite Scott throwing himself at her all the time.
You know, I don't get that from Ramona. And in real life, that may happen all the time, but Ramona never seemed attention-hungry to me. But at the same time, she can control herself. She knows what she's doing. She knows how she's affecting Scott, and she doesn't really care. She's kind of just... playing off his emotions.
Yeah, nobody would ever want that in real life.
So, let's stop writing her for that. There's some other things I want to get to about her personality.
Go ahead.
She uses Scott's dreams without his permission.
Wow, what a bitch. Going into my fucking dreams without my permission. Fuck off.
That is like morally fucking dark. And
yeah. That's like going through your dad's porn stash. You just don't do that.
It's worse than that. It's your dreams. Those are yours.
Yeah.
The fact that she uses them to travel.
I forgot she did that.
The fact that she uses them to travel through some random stranger's head before she even meets Scott, she's using his dreams. And then once Scott figures it out, she's kind of a bitch about it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, she's... Oh, I remember that. She totally just... blew him off and acted like he was the one who was being an asshole.
She says that his dreams are boring.
What a bitch.
Fuck you.
I'm
Get
sorry.
Out of my head.
That score just... There's my pen. This score is going down. One more point. I totally forgot about that, and that is honestly really fucked up.
She uses Scott for what he's able to give her, and she doesn't give him a lot back. She's very critical of the way that his life is and how it's going. And while that's fine because Scott's kind of a piece of shit himself, I don't know, you just don't plow your way into somebody's life, into their dreams, and then start demanding they make changes.
She totally just came in and fucked up everything for him.
Scott lost his key once, and she used that as an excuse to kick him out of the house. You remember that?
No. Again, it's been a while. I'm surprised you remember little details like this.
It pissed me off when I read it. And I just remembered, and I thought to myself, wow, Ramona, really?
And I'm sorry, but, like, Knives was just cool. Knives was just a cool girl, liked Scott a lot. She had some problems, too, but she was just nice. Kim?
Knives was a little insane.
A little bit, but whatever.
Plus, she was way too young for Scott.
Yeah, true, but better than Ramona. Better than dealing with all that shit.
It's a little iffy. A 20-year-old, 21-year-old dating a 15-year-old.
Oh, she's 15?
She's 15. She's way underage.
Oh, I didn't get... Okay, see, I read this when I was, like, 13, so I didn't really get to see the age difference and how fucked up that is. Ooh, that's not good.
All the characters in Scott Pilgrim are kind of react the same way when Scott admits that he's dating a 15-year-old high school student.
Oh, shit. Well, I guess that's just more points towards Kim being the best girl, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a shame they don't really delve into Kim.
Kim had her own comic, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, she had a little bit of a spin-off thing going on.
Did she?
Yeah, we should read that. That's good.
Was it like a one-off issue or something?
I think there were several. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure there were a couple Kim comics. I've seen them in stores.
I liked Kim a lot. She seemed like one of the more relatable characters. Mm-hmm. She seemed like one of the voices of reason.
She was the high school girl that you kind of have a crush on.
She was your high school best friend.
Yeah, and she's the relationship that didn't work out. She's that high school relationship where it was cool, it was fun, but it kind of had a weird end. Like, we didn't hate each other, you're still friends.
Yeah.
But goddamn, you wish it worked out after dealing with some shit later on.
If you can be friends with somebody before you're in a relationship, it's a good sign.
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone should be friends for months and months before they go dating.
It would be nice, but, the world doesn't work like that.
You can't have all that. Well, with all that being said, I mean, do you have anything else to add to personality?
No, I think we've talked for a good chunk of this podcast about her personality, and I'm giving her a 2. I do not like Ramona's personality one bit.
I was at a strong 3 until you mentioned the dream thing, which I think is really fucked up, especially the way that she reacted to the whole situation when Scott found out. I'm at a 2 as well now.
She's a very unhealthy person to be around.
There's really no reason to have someone like that, be in your life as far as like a relationship goes. There's no point. There's
no point to have somebody like that if they weren't a part of your life before. Mm-hmm. Inviting somebody into your life that is already like this is volatile.
Yeah. I would not want her to be my girlfriend. Fuck no.
I mean, I gave her a 2. The only way I'd give you a 1 is if you were also a fucking werewolf.
Oh, God. That'd be cool if she had werewolf abilities.
But she doesn't. Let's talk about her abilities.
Yeah, let's talk about the abilities. Pocket dimensions. That's kind of cool.
Kind of cool until you realize that you have to go through strangers' dreams for that.
Yeah, it's a little fucked up, but I think it was cool to bring like some sort of like cartoon logic into the comic with her being able to pull out giant shit out of her bag. I thought that was interesting.
It's like in D&D, the bag of holding, where you can hold anything.
Yeah, and let's just talk about merchandise in real life. I see girls wearing her bag all the time.
Yeah, it's a cool bag. It's a
cool little look. I like it.
And I guess she's good at roller skating.
She's good at fighting. She's generally pretty good. She's gotten a couple fights.
She has a couple fights.
Yeah. She's good at running away from her fucking problems.
Is she good at it? Because Scott had to fight 7 fucking people. 8 if you count Gideon.
She's bad at... Okay, so... Wow. I had running away as an ability, but it's more like a fault.
So really, she has the subspace travel, and she's good at fighting with her mallet.
And rollerblading, which is cool as well.
Rollerblading, yeah.
Now, we can't fault her too bad because this isn't really a series where like cool abilities are really a thing. It's kind of mostly it's a romance drama with some action going on.
Yeah. The action is very metaphorical.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I think.
So it is a 3 for me, but at the same time, that doesn't bring her down too much for me. Abilities or whatever for a character like this,
Yeah, I gave her a 2. I'm not really into it. Her abilities are just kind of boring and underutilized.
I like her abilities enough at least to give her a 3, because at least when she was rollerblading and fighting, the art looked good and it was visually appealing. So there's that. She had a cool fight in a library with knives, right? Or like in a mall or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
God, it's been a while.
It's been a long ass time.
Well, you gave her a what?
I gave her a 2. I'm not into the abilities at all, especially with the moral gray area of
The whole
traveling
dream thing.
through Scott's dreams,
Mm-hmm.
just to deliver shit for Amazon.
Oh yeah, she's an Amazon delivery girl.
Yeah, that's what she uses the subspace for. She doesn't use it for any creative purpose. She'll shove Scott in there every now and then, but
Yeah.
for the most part, she just lacks imagination to use her abilities to her advantage.
Damn, hard truth. This episode's filled with hard truths. I have a feeling that we're gonna either piss off Ramona fans or like
Convert
some
Ramona fans
Yeah.
into Kim fans.
give them the hard truth that Ramona is kind of a
Kim and
shitty
Wallace
girl.
are clearly the waifus
Fuck
that
yeah.
you need to be supported.
Dude, absolutely. Totally. Roll.
I don't like her role.
I figured we talked about her role. Her role's obvious. She's the girlfriend. She's
the unattainable girl
uh-huh.
that you have to fight to get. I'm not digging it, dude. She's a prize to be won at the end of the series. The entire series is built around falling in love with her and getting a relationship with her.
And it's worth almost nothing. And you know what? Maybe that was like the secret meaning of Scott Pilgrim.
I would like that to be the secret meaning, but the series doesn't end with Scott realizing Ramona is not the answer to all of his life's problems.
Mm-hmm.
The series ends with them potentially getting together again.
The ending of Scott Pilgrim has always been really gray for me, because they kind of just fade out and they hold hands and they go away. To me, that could mean I know they're together at the end, but that final shot, like not having a shot of them totally happy together at the end, always told me that it probably could have maybe gone wrong.
He wrote the ending to be ambiguous on purpose.
Yeah.
But we all clearly know the direction they wanted to take. Scott getting together with Ramona, because she was always the prize. It's boring. It's predictable. She doesn't deserve that much effort.
No, not she's not worth all. Dude, Scott went through so much for her. It's not worth
I like
any
the
of it.
alternate ending idea that they filmed where Scott ends up walking away, not with Ramona at the end, with knives, with Nega Scott.
Oh yeah, dude. See, that is the perfect ending right there.
Yeah.
Scott realizes all these girls are fucking stupid. He comes to terms with
himself.
Yeah, he
with
comes to
his
terms
dark
with
side.
himself, and he goes on his fucking happy merry way.
You know what that's called? Adulthood. That's when you find out, hey, you know what? I can make myself a more complete person, and if somebody else wants to come and join me in that, great. But love yourself before you start trying to impress this weird, creepy girl who just showed up and expects you to deal with all her baggage.
Sorry, I kind of zoned out there. I was laughing, and I was thinking about the scene where in the movie where he fights Nega Scott. Like, there's this big build up, like, oh shit, Nega Scott, and then they just walk out and they're talking about like
getting breakfast somewhere,
getting brunch. Dude,
yeah,
that part is so hilarious.
It's great because the alternate version of yourself would still be very much like you.
Yeah, I really like that. I like that they didn't make it a fight, because in the series it was in the comic book at least it was a fight.
I don't think it was it? Did he ever fight Nega Scott in the comic? I think he had a vision of Nega Scott that scared him.
Yeah, and they implied a clash happened, but I don't think anything really happened there.
Oh yeah, it was always one of those weird parts of the book.
Yeah, but reading and watching Scott Pilgrim in like my younger days, back when it was first coming out, Ramona was she was the supporting love interest, but growing up she's kind of like a bit of like the antagonist, at least for the reader, because like you don't want to deal with that shit.
They build up Gideon as the main antagonist,
but really who was the one fucking over Scott the entire time? Gideon was Ramona's main antagonist, and sure, he was the final boss, but the real
boss
one
that was, like you said, it was Ramona's main antagonist, but Scott had to deal with it too, because she just rolls into his life and now he has to deal with all of her shit.
Yeah, the real problem for Scott the entire series is Ramona. She's the problem.
Well, Scott's got his own
Yeah,
fucked
of
up
course,
issues,
yeah.
too.
Trust me, we're not just shitting on Ramona because we hate Ramona. I want to like her. Scott's a fucking dick, too. Scott does a lot of dumb things. Scott is not innocent. Scott is not a good guy.
But the thing is,
for the girls out there, you don't want to date a Scott either.
The thing is, Scott's main problems are him being passive
Mm-hmm.
and a little dumb and a little lazy.
Yeah.
All things that are normal for a guy his age.
Yeah, it's typical shitty
Relatable.
guy. Yeah.
Relatable. Ramona's got
Ramona
some
is
weird
relatable
shit.
to girls. Absolutely.
Okay, maybe she is, but Ramona's baggage is so much more than I think a normal girl's would be.
No, I think plenty of girls deal with a lot of shit similar to what Ramona deals with.
What did Ramona
it's
actually
just-
deal with, though? What was her problem?
She-
Being mind controlled by Gideon.
She was being mind controlled, but you got to remember there's also mental issues. There's issues with friends and like family and her whole group. Issues
They don't
with
talk about her family a lot.
issues.
They leave her past mysterious on purpose.
Okay, I meant friends, not literally family. But she also has a lot of issues with herself. It's a self battle. There doesn't need to be someone making her sad. She's making herself sad, and you can see that, and that conveys through changing her hairstyle and changing her look and just her attitude overall. She obviously hates herself, and she's got a lot of self-loathing going on.
Don't want to date that.
Yeah, I don't want to date it either.
Her role gets a 1 from me.
It's a 5 for me, actually.
A 5?
A 5.
Why?
Because I think it's standard. I think, she does her job.
I think it's so substandard. I think she is just a prize. Literally just a prize, to the point where people started using her name as a synonym for the girl I want to get.
Fuck it, I'm going down. I'm only giving you 1 point, though. I've gone to a 4. Only because I remember what you just said. The whole prize thing, it's absolutely true, unfortunately.
She's a straight up 1 for me because she is put into the position that most women in fiction are put into, which is the damsel in distress that you need to rescue because she can be yours.
Yeah.
That is boring as absolute fuck. I'm tired of reading that story. And despite the fact that she dyes her hair and she plays aloof and she's mysterious, that's still what her role is in the story. She is a goal for Scott to attain.
Yeah.
And it's boring as hell.
It's one of those things where I think Brian did a great job writing this character, and I think the character is very well written, and I think she represents an actual teenage to young adult girl going through all this shit. I understand, and he did it very well. But it all comes down to what the podcast is about.
Yeah.
And she is trash, and at least in that regard. So she's a 4 for me. But you brought me down 1 point.
Fair enough.
We're on the most important part of the show now. It's not even that important, though, because there's really not much to talk about here either. We're on fetish potential. And
Again,
Do you wanna
Ramona
go?
is boring. You got a thick girl thing going on, kind of. I
not really.
I would like to
it's
see-
it's implied.
It's implied, exactly. The characters talk about her being on the chubbier side. It doesn't show up in the art because the artwork is so samey.
Yeah. I still don't agree with you there. I mean, I agree to an extent, but
Well, everybody
on.
keeps calling her fat throughout the series. I don't see it. She's supposed to be. I get in my notes. I said she's a thick girl,
yeah.
and that's my only fetish potential note.
Well, I've got some more notes for you.
Let me hear it.
Small spaces and shrinking.
Shrinking.
The bag. Scott obviously, gets smaller when he's in the bag.
No, Scott doesn't get smaller.
yeah, okay.
The bag has infinite space.
You're
in it.
right. But still, small, confined spaces, being trapped in a small area. I know he's not, but it looks like he is, and that totally is a fetish. So,
It's a little bit of a stretch, but I'm sure somebody out there was turned on by the bag.
she has a nice butt. That's cool.
Eh.
And
Every girl we've reviewed on this show has a nice butt.
yeah, you're right. Okay.
That's just artists liking to draw appealing characters.
Yeah, that's true. This is just me, but she kind of got me into like a socks and thigh highs thing when I was a kid. When I was younger, I mean.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. She always wore like cool socks and stuff, and I thought
For
that
me,
was
that
cute.
was Velma.
Velma.
She has the orange high socks.
Yeah, they're nice, but yeah, it really got to me with Ramona. So I put that on there because that was the thing. I had a 6 for fetish potential, but I'm gonna knock it down to a 5 because there really isn't too much. But if you want to, make some stretches, there's a little bit more going on there.
I gave her a 2.
Damn. I mean, I'm not even mad at your low scores this time. Like for Android 18, it was like, why are you giving her these low scores? Of course, by the end of the episode, I understood where you were coming from, but For Ramona, yeah, there's just...
If you're into girls who dye their hair a lot, more power to you. That is the most common thing these days that I wouldn't even consider that a fetish or even really a turn on. It's just, do you like to dye your hair? Cool.
Yeah, it's a normal thing now.
If she was covered in tattoos, then maybe that's, the whole alternative thing. If she had a bunch of piercings, that could be something. But dyeing your hair, my grandma dyes her hair.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with Ramona one bit.
Me neither. I love her. I think she's great. She's a very well-written character. But I don't want to date her at all. I just really don't. There's so much going on here that's just bad and negativity, and there's so much baggage, and I don't think Ramona needed to date anyone, and I'm sure she could have been a great character after dating Scott and going through all that stuff. Maybe she improved over time, but we're talking about what we saw from mostly the comic books, talking about the movie a little bit too, but. I just want to say real quick, Ramona is supportive. She is nice. She's not a total heartless fucking beast.
She's way more supportive and nice in the comic.
Yeah. So she's not terrible. She's a cool person. There's nothing, she's no demon or anything like that. There's just a lot going on with her mentally, and don't want to date it.
Don't want to date it. What are you giving her? Final score?
24.
24.
Final score of 24. Is that the lowest I might have rated Velma lower?
That's pretty damn low. I don't know if you rated Velma lower.
Because I definitely like Ramona more than Velma.
But 24 out of 50, that's pretty damn low. I gave her a 14 out of a potential 50.
God
Lowest
damn.
score I've given on the show so far.
It's going to be a while till we get lower than that, honestly.
I totally stand by it. I think she would make an awful, awful girlfriend.
She really would. There's no doubting that.
So adding our scores together, we get a grand total of 38 out of a potential 100. Now, on this show, we consider anything 30 and below to be trash.
Total trash.
So she avoided the trash because you were, you were a little generous. I feel you were a little too generous, but
I don't think I was too generous. I think I was pretty fair with how I rated her. I was critical, but yeah, I felt like I was fair enough.
You think she deserves the 38?
Yes. I feel like the 38 is pretty good.
I feel like it's a little high for her, but
maybe just a little bit. Maybe like a 35, 32. I'd feel a little better.
There are just certain things about your scores that I feel are a little too high. The fetish potential. I don't know if she's really a 6. What would you give somebody? I mean, what would somebody have to be in order to get a 2 or a 3 from you in fetish potential?
There'd have to be like nothing. She would just have to be pretty.
Okay, so what's the difference between a 2 and a 3 in fetish potential for you? If both of them mean there's nothing.
A slightly bigger ass.
Fair enough. All right.
I know you don't like her. I know she sucks. But do you think a good date could maybe change things up?
Maybe. I want to know where you'll take her.
I would take her Goodwill shopping. I've done this a couple times with similar girls, with my own Ramonas. I've taken them Goodwill shopping. It's fun. They're typically into it. You get to see some funny stuff, some funny stories going on. Maybe find some good finds. I think did they go Goodwill shopping at all in
thrift stores? Yeah.
Yeah. Thrift store shopping, not just
Hipsters
Goodwill.
Hipsters love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I would love to go Goodwill shopping with Ramona.
She'd probably be into it.
Yeah.
With all the outfits she wears.
Yeah, she'd love it. What about you?
All right, I'm hopping into Ramona's bag. And I assume she's hopping.
Why are you hopping? Okay, every time you go out on a date with a girl, you're hopping on or inside a weird fucking vehicle. One of you is hopping into something.
Yeah, it's what Ramona does. She travels the subspace.
All right.
So we are doing what I told you earlier I thought was disgusting by traveling through other people's dreams.
Yeah.
And we're going to use that as a shortcut to get to the heart of Dubai. When we're in Dubai, we're going to the world's largest cup of tea.
They have that there.
I don't know if you remember, Ramona's into tea. She offers...
Yeah, she has a shitload
of tea. Anyway, what we're going to do, with Ramona's consent, we're going to tie up her legs. We're going to hang her upside down.
We're going to teabag her.
And we're going to dip her gently into the large vat of tea, just her hair. Her hair dye will leave her head.
Oh my God.
And make a big blue cup of tea, and inside that will be the essence of all that is hipster.
Hell yeah, dude! Fucking hipster brew.
She would love it. All the cast of Scott Pilgrim would love it. It's probably alcoholic as fuck because we know Ramona likes to drink.
Dude.
Win-win.
Dude, watch. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make hipster tea. We'll make a recipe.
You guys can't tell, but I'm nodding with a quizzical look on my face.
we both are. Holy shit. You're a fucking genius, dude.
I know it. You know it. The listeners know it.
You fucking asshole.
I know it.
Well, do we even have to talk about it? She's not waifu for laifu. It's not even a fucking question.
She's not beating Nami. She's not beating... Who was the lowest score before this? Was it on Takamaki?
Maybe.
I don't know. She's not beating anybody in my book.
Hell no. Dude, even thinking about Ramona Flowers versus fucking Nami, that's like... Get out of here. No, don't even... That's not even a fucking question. Hell no. Like, Android 18, on a good day, I could maybe change my mind. But Ramona... As much as I like her...
No, she's not even remotely close to Nami.
Sorry for all you Ramona fans out there. And sorry for all the Scott Pilgrim fans out there if we, like, totally made you realize that Scott Pilgrim isn't what it used to be. I mean, we don't know yet. We haven't rewatched it.
We haven't revisited. Those are only my predictions. Mm-hmm. Just because I think the story could use a little punching up.
Yeah, for those of you who grew up reading Scott Pilgrim and who have gone back to it, I know there's a couple of you out there. Let us know. Let us know if it held up. Let us know if it's really worth a reread or a rewatch, because that takes time, especially to reread it. So if it's worth our time, let us know. If you like Ramona, if you hate her, let us know. If you want to follow us on Twitter and see what's up, that is waifu_podcast. If you want to send us hate mail or maybe even a couple good words, our email is waifutrashpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support us on Patreon, we really appreciate it. That is Your Waifu Is Trash. Just letting you guys know about the tiers on there. We never really mentioned them on the podcast. We have some polls up, and we are hoping to maybe get your advice and to have you guys pick the next waifu, right?
Yeah, I would love to take some fan requests.
Yeah, on Patreon we're going to be taking fan requests and going about and seeing who you want us to talk about. We'll talk about any character you want. We have plenty of ideas and plenty of characters we want to talk about, but in the end, it's about you guys. If you guys want to hear us talk about whoever,
we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. We're here for it. We'll talk about anyone. We don't give a fuck.
And one of our stretch goals on the Patreon is to do Your Husbando Is Trash.
We've talked about it a lot. Almost every other episode we've mentioned the husbando.
We're both excited to do this one.
We're super excited to talk about it. There are so many male characters that we really want to talk about and just dig deep into. I'm really excited for it.
So am I.
We appreciate all the likes, comments, subscribes, all that great stuff. It really brightens up our day. Stay tuned for the next episode. Maybe someone will beat Nami. You think so?
No.
Not happening next episode?
Maybe.
All right, we'll just have to wait and see. David, any last words?
The real problem with Ramona is...
You can't do it. You can't do that. They're going to come. It happens every time we talk about Ramona.
Oh, you don't mean...
Ah! Freeze! Vegan police! Vegan police!